What's up everybody, and welcome to a Toyota Land Cruiser review like you have never seen before. In this video I'm going to be looking at the paint thickness for the Toyota Land Cruiser 70 series and how much paint do you get for your money. Right beside me is my own personal 70 series Land Cruiser that I picked up last week, and I've been watching YouTube videos for many months, like everybody who's been excited to receive their new car with such a long waiting period. I have watched every single YouTube review of the old and new 70 series that I can physically watch, from off-roading to fit outs to towing tests, you name it. But nobody has really talked about the quality of the car. And I'm not talking about fit and finish because we all know this is a farm truck, but what about the paint? Do you actually get industrial strength paint for a car that is supposed to be built to travel around the world and now costs pretty much $100,000 in Australia, which is a lot of money? You can get some really nice BMWs, Mercedes, Volkswagens, so many other cars that you get way more equipment and fit out than a 70 series Land Cruiser. You can even get a Prado, which is probably twice as well equipped for a lot less money. And I thought, you know what, let me put a paint thickness gauge to the paint and have a look. Are the rumors true about Land Cruiser paint being thin, or did they increase the paint to give you more for your money these days? So watch this video and let us find out together about what you really get for your money in terms of paint thickness, paint quality, and what you should do to protect it moving forward based on that factual discovery that we're going to make together in this video. Alright, so I have my trusty paint thickness gauge. It is a quality gauge that is very accurate, and unfortunately, because the gauge doesn't have a display, I have to use my phone, so I can't really hold the camera and do this at the same time and show you close up. So what I'm going to do is take a few screenshots and overlay them. I haven't checked the thickness of the paint of this car, but I know that as a guideline, expensive cars, or cars probably $60,000-$70,000 and up, tend to be normally around the 100 microns in paint thickness. Cars that are hand painted like Rolls Royces and Bentleys are probably more closer to the 200 microns thickness. If you have a muscle car that's been done by a body shop, again 250 to 400 microns. And some of your cheaper cars tend to be around the 80 microns thickness. So this is a guide for us. When I'm talking about microns, so 1 millimeter is 1,000 microns, and that micron thickness is not just the clear coat, it is the clear coat, the color, and the primer down to the metal. So I wouldn't say the thicker it is, the better, because if you get it on too thick, it becomes more brittle. So you still want that, I guess, a good reasonable layer to be thick enough to resist chips and scratches, but also thin enough to be flexible around the paintwork so it doesn't chip easy. So let's have a look, and we'll start off with the bonnet. 49 microns. That is incredibly thin paint. So take another reading. 48 microns, 60 microns on the fenders, 41 microns here. So it is very thin. The paint on these cars is incredibly thin. I would not be cutting and polishing it too much, to be honest, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm going to be taking this thing to get PPF on there, because I think the smallest of stones will chip the paint. Let's now go around the car and check various areas to see if they are all around that same thickness. So it does come as quite a shock to me that the thickest area that I measured, which I think might have been I guess a little bit of a high spot, was 80 microns, which was just up here. The thinnest area was 42 microns, and I would say the average was about 45 microns. So it is incredibly thin paint. To give you an idea, this Norweld tray is obviously not painted by Toyota. And what I'm going to do is try to get the thickness in one hand somehow. So let's have a look. didn't register, needs to be done with 2 hands. So 171 microns thickness. Let's try to rest this phone up against the tire so the camera can see it. Here we go. All right, so to give you an idea, this is what it looks like from Norweld, 137 microns. This is what it looks like from Toyota, 58 microns. So the paint on the Norweld tray is more than 3 times thicker than the paint you get from Toyota, just to give you an idea. That is incredibly thin paint, and because that is incredibly thin, to be honest, I'm not even going to bother checking the areas that they could skimp out on, because the areas that they shouldn't be skimping out on are so thin that I would just assume it's all going to be the same. All right, so quite a shock to me, no doubt quite a shock to many people who are viewing this video, in that you're pretty much getting half the paint that a normal car of this price would come with. Which is not good at all. It means that this paint is going to be very easily stone chipped, very easily scratched. If you polish it too many times, you're going to burn through that paint, which is going to lead to rust. So taking this into account, my opinion for anybody who's looking at purchasing and maintaining a Land Cruiser 70 series, if you're looking at doing any form of travel or off-road, I really think you should consider stone chip protection, which is PPF. Only PPF is going to add thickness to that paint. If you want to prolong the life of the car and make it easier to wash, give it good resistance against bird poo, bat poo, tree sap, because there isn't much paint to do anything with, really. You can't really polish it, it's so thin. Definitely at a bare minimum, get some IGL coatings on there. IGL Elixir would be my pick due to its strong chemical resistance. Obviously Kenzo is always a great option, but ideally throw on some PPF and put some IGL shield on, because you don't have much paint at all. Literally you have 3 times less paint than what you get from a Norweld tray. So maybe Norweld should be painting these cars for Toyota instead. So let's leave this video as it is for now. Please like, please subscribe, please ask any questions that you may have, and stay tuned for future videos that we're going to be doing about how we're going to protect this car and the journeys I'm going to have in traveling around Australia and seeing IGL applicators. Thank you for watching.